Don't get too close.
I'm not. Lori,
Yes.
state your name and your New Voices class and what you're doing professionally right now in your career.
My name is LoriForeman. I'm class of 2007, and the objective of my job was to identify deficiencies in the realm of services for people with disabilities and the elderly, and to try to address those issues and do some legislative work, affect systemic change to accommodate people with disabilities. For instance, we have a severe lack of transportation for people who have disabilities, and the Medicaid isn't willing, or state isn't willing to try to do anything to provide those services. Especially
So what are you doing about? Are you advocating for transportation for people with disabilities so they can be more mobile?
Right. Well, to give you an example, I have a daughter with disabilities, and we own a van that is basically on its last leg.
Yeah.
And in order to transport Katie to a doctor's appointment, dental appointment, or whatever, we would have to utilize this van, and it really isn't drivable. So I called the state Medicaid office because they're supposed to provide non-emergency Medicaid transportation.
Right.
And I was told that there were no providers in my parish, at all. Not only did they not have providers to provide accessible transportation, they didn't have any providers, period. And so I asked them what the alternative would be, and I was told that they didn't have a clue that it was my problem. And that's exactly the tone of voice and everything that they told me. So I said, so basically what I do is just go ahead and cancel my daughter's appointments. And they said, basically that's what you do. So, I mean, so I've met with several legislators in the state, and then I'm also working with the Advocacy Center to try to see if there can be any litigation, to rectify
that and advocate for that.
So we're working on that issue now.
Now, if you had, as far as your career goes, if you could do anything with your career, or if you could do anything you wanted with your career other than to run away or retire, what would you be doing right now?
It would be to start my own consulting agency where I could provide information to people with disabilities and the elderly without forcing them to come up with payment to pay me for the information. In a perfect world, that's what it would be. But we all know that, at least I do, that the people who come to me to get help are coming to me for that very reason. They don't have the resources, the monetary wherewithal to pay me. So they'll come to me asking how to negotiate the system to apply for Medicaid or Social Security, or how to acquire lift equipment or any type of accessible, adaptable equipment, home modifications and stuff. So in a perfect world, it would be to provide those services free of charge, with my own agency. But that isn't going to happen. So,
Laura, you look like you've got these answers all down, and you look like the camera just loves you. So I just take for granted that you've been through various interviews and been working the news media circuit for a while.
Actually, I have my own television show.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
These questions have not been rehearsed. I just know, Lori.
You are so silly. No, actually, I have a half-hour television show that airs weekly, several times in fact, where I interview people who provide services to people, not only to the elderly and people with disabilities, but the general population. I've interviewed people associated with Affiliated Blind or the Deaf Action Center, people with the Epilepsy Foundation, American Cancer Society, and different organizations like that who are able to provide information and resource information to people. And it's really, really neat because I do know the word gets out because I receive multiple calls, follow-up calls, and what is really, really nice is that the word has gotten out what I do, and I don't go searching for people to interview. I actually have people that will call me and say, look, I provide such and such help for people with disabilities. I build ramps at a reduced cost.
Great.
Or I know someone who has equipment that we loan, we can loan to people who are having a hard time acquiring equipment. And by doing this, I'm creating this huge network.
Yes.
And this network is what is key to providing the services to people in our region, and also for the most part for a large part of the state. And so right now my agency is going in another direction. Well, they want my job title to be something other than that. And so, in essence, I probably will not remain with the agency, and I will probably branch off and even do pro bono work for a while if I can get unemployment to sustain me. Then I'll still do my television program and working with the kids in school. I pair up children who have disabilities with typical children who do not, and they carry the relationship. Not only do they nurture it in the schools, but outside of the schools too. So these kids make a pledge to call the other children while they're at home during the summer. I sponsor many activities, such as they had a special needs prom, and we don't call it that, but we said it. They've named themselves Friends Matter.
Okay.
They're the Friends Matter Club. And so I sponsor and facilitate the activities. So this summer at my home we're going to have a big hayride and a bonfire and a cookout and everything, where the kids can maintain that consistency and that stability of the relationship throughout the summer.
And that sounds so great. Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to be interviewed by a New Voices Fellow from 2008. I know your class, and I thank you. I know your class is a class of 2007.
Yes.
And Lori and I have been friends. In fact, she was one of the first people who actually befriended me as a New Voices Fellow in 2008. And I know that we're supposed to interview people that we don't know, but Lori and I have a special kinship, so this is her interview, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Emil.
And push the red button.
Push the red button.
Thank you.